When I first moved to St. Paul, Minnesota, I rented a tiny studio on the top floor of an old brick building. It wasn't fancy, just one room, a small kitchenette, and a single window facing a narrow alley. I chose it because it was cheap and close to my bartending job downtown. Most nights I got home around 3 a.m. I'd kick off my shoes, heat up leftovers, and scroll my phone until I passed out. For the first few weeks, it felt peaceful, quiet, until one night. I had just turned on the lights when something flickered in the window across the alley, like a curtain twitching. At first, I thought I imagined it, but the next night, it happened again. The moment I flipped the switch, the curtain across from me shifted slightly, and a hand pulled it back. The apartment across the alley was completely dark, and I had never once seen a light on in there. I'd always assumed it was empty. From then on, I started watching. Every night, without fail, the moment I came home and turned on my lights, that curtain would move, slowly, deliberately, like someone was watching me. I told myself I was being paranoid. Still, curiosity got the best of me, so I asked my landlord about that unit. He said no one lived there. It had been vacant for months. That night, I didn't sleep. A week later, things escalated. I came home around 4 a.m. after a long shift, and something was wedged in my door frame, a crumpled piece of paper. It just said, "Hey." My stomach dropped. I ran to the window. The curtain across the alley hung still, closed tight. I called my friend Emma and went to stay at her place. The next morning, I demanded that my landlord unlock the vacant apartment across from mine. He hesitated but finally agreed. The place was cold, dusty, and completely empty, except for one thing. In front of the window facing my apartment sat a single metal folding chair. It was perfectly centered, like someone had been sitting there every night just watching. The police came, dusted for prints, but nothing ever came of it. I moved out that week. To this day, whenever I walk past an alley window, I still feel that same sensation. That unseen gaze through the glass, like whoever was sitting in that chair might still be out there, looking for another light to turn on. In the summer of 2020, my friends and I, Abby, Marcus, his brother Tyler, and Tyler's girlfriend Hannah, decided to go camping deep in the Smoky Mountains. We wanted a break from everything. No cell service, no crowds, just the woods. The first night was perfect. We set up camp by a lake, built a fire, told dumb stories, and stayed up staring at the stars. It felt peaceful. The second night was different. Around 11, Marcus suddenly froze mid-laugh and pointed toward the tree line. He swore he saw someone move behind a tree. None of us saw it, so we brushed it off as a deer. 20 minutes later, we heard the sound of a branch snap, loud, close. Abby wanted to go to bed, so we called it a night. I woke up hours later to the sound of breathing, right outside my tent. Slow, uneven breathing. I told myself it was just one of my friends, until the breathing moved from one side of my tent to the other. Then it stopped. The next morning, no one mentioned it, until Marcus spoke up. "Someone was outside our tent last night," he said. Tyler and Hannah both nodded. They'd heard it too. When we checked around, there were footprints in the dirt circling all three tents. Most were boot prints, but one was a bare human foot. That night, none of us slept easy. We kept a big fire going and our flashlights within reach. Around 2 a.m., we heard it again, leaves crunching in the darkness. Then, a voice. Too soft to understand, but definitely human. Marcus turned on his flashlight and pointed it toward the sound. For just a second, we saw him. A naked man, crouched behind a tree, his skin pale and his eyes wide. He bolted into the woods like an animal. We sat frozen. Nobody dared move. At around 4 a.m., I heard it again. Slow steps. Then a voice whispered from the trees, "I see you guys." Every muscle in my body locked up. A moment later, the zipper on my tent began to slide down, slowly. I screamed. Everyone did. Whoever was out there took off running. When daylight finally came, we packed up everything and hiked out. At the ranger station, we told them what happened. The ranger just nodded and said quietly, "You're not the first group to see him." Apparently, for years, hikers had reported a man living out there, sometimes more than one. People said they stole supplies. Others said they did worse. I haven't gone camping since, and I don't think I ever will. When I was 12, my family moved to a quiet farmhouse in northern Oregon. The place sat alone on several acres of forest. It was peaceful, but unsettlingly quiet. The house came with an old wooden shed behind it, maybe 30 feet from our back door. My dad said it was just full of junk left by the previous owner. He was wrong. It started one night when our golden retriever, Max, began barking uncontrollably toward the shed. The motion light flicked on, but there was nothing there. The next morning, we found boot prints in the dirt leading to the shed, but none going away. Over the next few weeks, it happened again and again, barking, footsteps, but nothing visible. One night around 2 a.m., I woke up to the crunch of gravel outside my window. I peeked through the blinds and saw a man standing beside the shed wearing a dirty gray coat. He looked up, right at my window. I ducked down, heart pounding, and woke my dad. He grabbed his rifle and ran outside, but the man was gone. He added a new padlock to the shed and said it was fine. But a month later, Max disappeared. That night, I couldn't sleep. Around 3 a.m., I heard the back door creak open. My dad was already awake, gun in hand. We both looked out the window. Under the motion light stood the same man, holding a knife, and in his other hand, Max's collar. My dad shouted, and the man ran into the woods. The police searched but found no one. What they did find inside the shed was worse. The floor had been cleared, strange symbols carved into the dirt. In a hidden compartment behind a wall, they found a backpack filled with other people's belongings, wallets, watches, bits of clothing, and a notebook. It was filled with drawings of eyes, families, and houses, notes that said things like, "They don't know I'm here," and "He's mine now." We left that house the next morning. Sometimes, when I close my eyes, I still see that man's face outside the window, and I wonder how many other families he watched before us.